Hey team, how's it going? Time for another Team Training Tuesday. And tonight I wanted to talk about something that has to do with your current organization and supporting your current downline members and the new people who join your team. So I wanted to hit on something that I call, and other people call, happy mail. Not happy meal, but happy mail. And this is something that I started doing almost a year ago. I just looked at my chart and I thought that was pretty crazy. I didn't realize I'd been doing it for a year. But I take time at the end of every month to send out letters to certain people in our organization. And there's different rules for who I send to so that I'm not writing a bajillion letters every month. But I do think this is a great way to get more exposure to your current organization, whether you enrolled that person or somebody on your team enrolled that person. And this is a great way to get your name out there, start a relationship with people in your organization that you might not know, but how can you break into that and start forming that relationship and go from there. So I heard this from a platinum leader. I don't know if she's a diamond by now, but I heard this from her a couple of years ago and I thought it was a great idea. So I kind of modified it to my own little way to do it. And so I'm going to share with you how I do my happy mail, every month. So the first thing that I do is I bought a bunch of fun cards, and I bought them on Amazon. You can usually buy a whole pack of greeting cards for really cheap. I probably got them for like $5 or $10, so it's probably 50 or 100 in the box. I don't even remember. But you can find some really cheap ones on Amazon. You can go to a store and get them, whatever you want to do. But buy yourself some fun greeting cards. And I would recommend blank on the inside. I'm going to show you some different ones that I use based on who I'm sending a letter to. But I use Oily Tools, which is an application that you can download on your phone. It is a paid subscription. I believe it's $7 a month. But I use Oily Tools to keep me up to date on certain notifications that are happening throughout the month. So Oily Tools will tell you all kinds of things like in and out of stock products, new members who joined, people who joined Essential Rewards, people who enrolled their first team member, any rank qualifications changes. So if somebody ranked up to star or senior star, it'll actually send that directly to your phone. Now, in relation to my happy mail, I actually only use Oily Tools for one certain notification that the virtual office can't give me, and that is when somebody in my organization enrolls their very first team member. So in the virtual office, it can't tell you that. You'd have to go through and manually figure out, okay, who joined my team, who enrolled them, was that their very first enrollment? But Oily Tools has that all done for you, and it'll send me a notification to say, hey, Joe Schmo enrolled their very first team member today, John Smith. So Joe Schmo is going to go on my list. So the people that I'm sending happy mail to at the end of every month are people who enrolled their very first team member, anybody who joins our organization, whether that would be somebody that we personally enrolled or somebody that gets placed under us through the sponsor placement program, anyone who ranks up at all. So anybody that goes up to star, senior star, executive, beyond, etc., I send a letter to. And I haven't started yet, but I would like to start sending letters to anybody in our organization who joins Essential Rewards. So right now that's a big number, and I don't have everything in place that I want to send those letters, but I want to show you a breakdown of what I'm sending. So for instance, anybody who enrolls their very first team member or who goes up in rank, I'm sending just some fun greeting cards that say, you know, congrats or awesome or hey, you did it. And these ones I thought were fun. They're kind of sparkly. And I just got these, like I said, in a big box. And I kind of write, I have certain scripts that are pre-written that I came up with myself. And I say, you know, depending on what it is, hey, Susie, congratulations on enrolling your very first member in September. That's awesome. I explain who I am so they know who they're getting mail from. And so, you know, I'm in your leadership support upline. Great job on sharing health and wellness with people around you. I've included my contact information in case you're interested in reaching out. I would love to talk to you more about the business side of Young Living or any product specific questions that you have, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. And that goes on the letter. So I usually take up all of it, and I have horrible handwriting, but this is such a great practice to get into because it's such a personal touch. But I write that in here. I write the script. I fill in the right information. I also put in, a business card that has my contact information because I want them to be able to reach out to me through email or phone call or texting if they'd like. And I also include one of the game plan minis. So if you haven't seen these, you can go to oilabilityteam.com. And this is something that Sarah Harnish put out. She's a diamond now in Young Living. And this is the first 2 chapters of the game plan book itself, which is this size. The mini is the first 2 chapters of this big book. So this is a really great business prospecting tool that you can send out to somebody in your organization, and they can read through this. They can learn, hey, these are some of the benefits and options that I have available through Young Living if I decide to purposely enroll people and create a team and an organization. So I put this in there. I don't even mention anything about it in the letter. It's kind of just like a cold prospecting tool. Hey, if they decide to open this up and read it and they like what they see, they can get a hold of me, but I'm not going to necessarily hound them and say, hey, please read this and I'm going to follow up with you. I could do that, but I personally don't. That's your choice. But I put this in there as a way to say, hey, great job, you enrolled your first member. In this, in this book, they'll be able to read about what that means to them monetarily. And if they decide to do that more, this is a great intro into the bigger book, especially, and how to open the pathway for them to ask me questions as a business leader if they decide to go that way as well. So I put that in there too. And those are the 3 things in that letter. That I just put the letter, I put this little booklet, and I have my business card. And these booklets are about 3.5 inches by 5.5, so they fit perfectly in a 4x6 card, which is pretty standard for a greeting card. So I put that all in there. I put it in the envelope. It does take a couple stamps based on the weight. It's a little heavier. So I put 2 stamps on there and I mail it out. And so depending on how many people enrolled their first member that month, I could be sending out 0, I could be sending out 5, I could be sending out 10. I really have no idea month to month how many of those I'll be sending. And then I also send out, I mentioned, to anybody new that we personally enroll or who gets placed with us with the sponsored placement program. I have a different set of cards just looking wise that say welcome, and these are just in fun colors. And I say, hey, welcome to Young Living. Congratulations on signing up as a wholesale member. How exciting. I think you're really going to love all the health and wellness products that are available to you now. And by the way, here's my contact information because I would love to connect and chat more about the business, not only the products, but the business as well if you're interested. And if they're local, I also include a line about, if you friend me on Facebook, which they can find me through my contact information on my business card. If you friend me on Facebook, I can invite you to a local monthly meeting that I host at my house. So let me know if you're interested in that. And I send that out to anybody new that I personally enroll or gets placed under us. So I'm not sending that letter to every single new team member on our team. So if you are out there and you enrolled somebody on your team, at this point, I'd say it's up to you to welcome them into the organization. Not saying I couldn't write even more letters. I just haven't gotten to that point yet in my monthly practice. So, and then anybody else that does anything else, if they rank up, I send them, a congrats letter. I also just have blank fun cards that I got, again, in a big packet you can kind of show your personality through the cards that you pick. And this is just a small way of kind of getting your feelers out there for people. But what I love about this practice is it does a couple different things. For me as a business leader, it keeps me in the mindset of being a servant and putting myself out there, giving my contact information so that somebody has a touch point. Because oftentimes, and unfortunately, some people come into the organization and maybe they have a sponsor who was really fired up for a while, but they kind of dropped off, or maybe they got placed into our organization somewhere without knowing anybody. So especially through the sponsored placement program, they might have just gone on the Young Living website and signed up, and they got put in our organization, and they don't even know they have an upline support system. So part of what we should have as a goal is to reach out to people in our organization and say, hey, this is what I'm here for. This is a benefit of network marketing, and I'm here for you, even if nobody else is. Basically, if they don't have anybody else local that they know that they can talk to about Young Living, they know that they can talk to you. You just gave them your contact information. So it helps me remind myself that it's so great to get welcomed into something new, and we want to have those, open arms and say, hey, glad you're here. I love it. Welcome to the team. Let's do this. And so it helps me stay kind of on the ground level with people. It also helps me keep track of monthly who's coming into the organization, how many people enrolled their very first team member, congratulating them on that, because a lot of times they don't even know what that means. And they didn't really even know that there was a referral code, and that they're going to get a monetary, kickback for doing that, and kind of putting that out there for them as well. And then the second reason that I like this so much is it's so great to get mail. And this, it depends on the mail. I don't like getting junk mail, but it is really nice to get a handwritten card in the mail. And no matter what that's for, I love it. So it could be something that somebody sent you just out of the blue, could be, a happy birthday card. And especially in Young Living, as big as some of our organizations are now, I think it's really cool to just have that touch point with somebody in my organization. They could be a couple levels under me. They could be several levels under me. They could be, I've sent Happy Mail to Alaska. I've sent Happy Mail all over the continental United States. I've sent Happy Mail to Canada. Wherever these people are, I've sent to the UK because our organizations have stretched that far. But it's kind of just another way of saying, hey, this is cool because I live in this state, you live in this state, and we're so far away, but we're still connected in a way. So it keeps that more personal connection going, so we're not all just names and faces, and it's kind of just ambiguous as, hey, we're in this Young Living thing, but who cares? The great benefit of network marketing is that there is that support system, and having that team camaraderie is so important too, as far as getting product questions answered, and definitely when and if you decide to turn it into a business, it's great to know that you have people there to reach out to if you have those questions, because we all have those questions, and it's great to have a support system in place to do that. So I would challenge all of you to come up with your own system of Happy Mail. And you can decide, who you're going to send to. If you have a smaller organization, maybe you send a letter to, one random person a month in your organization, just to say hi, just to check in. And these could even be people that you're already close to. Maybe you live locally. Maybe you're already Facebook friends with them. But sending a handwritten letter in the mail, I don't know about you guys, but to me, there's something so great about it, because you open it, you're like, I wonder what they're sending me. And you open it, and especially if it's something nice and it's a greeting and saying, hey, congrats on doing this, or hey, I'm so glad you're part of my team. It's just nice to hear that and have that again reiterated, that you're part of an organization that cares for and loves on its downline members. So that's why I love doing that so much. So I would challenge all of you in this group to come up with your own way of doing Happy Mail. And if you're interested in seeing the scripts that I have based on somebody who enrolls their first team member, somebody who joins our team as a brand new member, somebody who ranks up to star, senior star, executive, etc., I can send those scripts to you. So you'll have to message me or write on this video, make a comment that you're interested in seeing that, if you want to know how to even start doing this. And I can share some of those scripts with you, and you can go from there. So that's just something that I do to keep the relationships going in our organization. And some of you might have even received Happy Mail from me, but I just like doing that, and it's such a good practice to me. Yes, exactly. It feels more personal to try to build those relationships more than just an email, more than just a Facebook message. you get to see somebody's horrible, crappy handwriting, but you know they spent the time to sit down, pick out a card for you, write something down, and put a stamp on it and put it in the mail. It's definitely a completely different process than just hitting copy paste on an email. So that's my process for Happy Mail. And if you're already doing something like that, I would love to hear about your current practice. If you're not doing it yet, I'd love to hear about your plans for starting some Happy Mail with your organization that you already have going. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you again next week for another Team Training Tuesday. See